Hey there, welcome kings and queens. Listen, I wanted to hop on really quick to bring you some updates in the Shanquella Robinson case. And in my opinion, these are very disturbing updates. I won't be long, but you know what? Let me tell y'all something. Anytime you get a blogger that says, I won't be long, child, you know they're going to be long-winded as hell. But I'm going to try not to be long. I'm going to try to keep this between 7 to 8 minutes just to bring you some very important updates. You know, this case becomes stranger by the minute. And it's important that we continue to pray for this family because from the looks of it, y'all, it seems like people close to them, people that they've entrusted in their homes, people that they've broken bread with, have completely betrayed them. And in my opinion, oftentimes, one of the best traits to me for us as a people, our strengths are also our weaknesses. We're very loving. We're very welcoming. And we have this natural ability to cover others. If you don't have family, guess what? And you are dating someone in my family, then my family becomes your family. You don't have a place to go to eat, we'll feed you. You don't have clothes on your back, we'll give you a shirt to put on your back. And that's something that we do well collectively as a people and as a community. But that same trust system can get you violated, okay? And it seems like people close to this family has continued to violate them in the most disturbing ways. Before I jump in, let me just explain really quickly. For those of you who are tuned in and or if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am Queen Shiba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Now, let me bring you some updates. I'm going to cover 4 things. The first update just completely wowed me. The first update is the boyfriend is not the boyfriend. I know. Child, the boyfriend, the one that you've seen frolicking around on social media, doing interviews, posing in front of her gravesite in a loud pink suit, talking, posting, questioning, is actually the ex-boyfriend. Imagine that. Imagine that. I remember watching a movie with Denzel Washington many, many years ago, and he said the loudest one in the room is often the weakest one in the room. That is crazy that this dude had the audacity to operate under the pretense that he's actually the boyfriend. Never corrected it. Never said, actually, you know what? Shanquella and I did not have a recent relationship. However, I am close to the family. I did date her. You see how you can clean that up? I did date her. I was there for a little bit of the conversations, but I am not her boyfriend. This man has led us to believe that he is her boyfriend, and her family has come out to say he's not her boyfriend. He's actually her ex-boyfriend, and she does have a boyfriend, okay? The current boyfriend does not have a social media. He's actually not responding, which is what I like that. He's respecting the family. He's not adding anything on until he receives full details. So I said that to say anything that the boyfriend has put out is false. There has been no arrest. No one has been arrested. And he told us that. That's false. The family has not been notified. So as an ex-boyfriend, how can you be notified before her next of kin, before her mother and her father? So the family has said, from what they know, there have been no arrests. That's the first thing. The second thing is Mexico is keeping everything under wraps. They are not naming any suspects. So anything that you hear regarding the Mexican government, the Mexican investigation, and if anybody's saying it's Dejanay, it's Winter, it's all propaganda. It's all hearsay and it's fake news. Mexico has kept this so much under wraps for a number of reasons. Number one, according to Mexican officials, it's important to them that they don't name any names to not, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. They don't want to sabotage. That's not the word. They don't want to compromise the case. They don't want to name any names to put anybody at risk, to put anybody in harm, because whoever they're focused on, they want to make sure they get them back to Mexico. And they feel like by naming a specific individual and or individuals, people can become vigilantes, people can disappear, whatever. So they want to keep it under wraps as to not compromise their case, to not compromise their findings, and they don't want people to switch up. That's the best way I can say it in layman's terms. This is crazy. So you have this ex-boyfriend that's out there pretending to be the current boyfriend, like literally accepting interviews, not correcting people. And then it's not true. There have been no arrests, according to her family. Okay. Number 3, if you go back and watch my last video that I posted regarding Shanquella Robinson, I gave you hypothetical based on my assessment. And if you go deep into the video, I said, I believe that the police that arrived on the scene, the doctor, and whomever else took the money, but they weren't necessarily working in tangent with the Cabo Six. They probably took the money and said, okay, you got 24 hours to get the hell up out of here. That's been somewhat substantiated. Not necessarily directly in those words, but according to the local media in Mexico, they are saying that the Cabo Six should have never made it out of there. The investigation had not been closed, an autopsy had not been done, and they want everybody to know that that is not the way they operate. So the fact that the Cabo Six were able to dip out of Mexico without the proper authorities, we're not talking about the people on the scene, the doctor and whatever rent-a-cops that came. Without the proper authorities knowing, they should have been detained. So I feel good about the assessment I gave, because I'm like, wait a minute. When I had to think about it, I was like, wait a minute. I got to think realistically. How did this go down? How were you in that villa as a doctor for 2 to 3 hours? Okay. And there ain't no way you working on that girl for 2 to 3 hours without transporting her to a hospital. Okay. A bulk of her money comes up missing. Those people get out of there. So when I start to think, if you sit back and you step away from social media and you just put your common sense to use, you don't have to be a detective, and you say, well, how could that have played? You don't have to be 100% accurate. But when you ask yourself, how could that have played out in a room? There was a payoff. There was a window, what is it they call it? A time frame, a window, a frame of time given to get the hell up out of here. Okay. But this is what happened. They said that it's being reported that there was so much when Shanquella's body arrived that the medical examiners became alarmed at the condition of the body, saying there's no way that this girl could have died from alcohol poisoning. So they conducted their own private exam without releasing it, without the doctor knowing and the police that were on site, because they did not believe what was being told to them. So kudos to them. Thank God that whoever was looking at her said, nah, 1 + 1 is 2, and this is not adding up. So thank God for that. Okay. Also, we know now that they did give them amount of time to get up out of there. And I believe they were like, get out of here. You got to go now. And that's why they tore their behinds to the airport. Remember, it's alleged that they booked a room at an airport hotel. Because according to the Mexican media, the local media in Mexico, had that news gotten out, people all over would have stopped them. Remember, I said there are vigilantes in Mexico. They're saying that people would have stopped them had they become aware of what was going on. So they bought time to leave and left on the first flight smoking. That's sad. That's sad. So I wanted to update you with that. The fourth thing I want to share with you is that nobody has all of the information. Not her parents, not our bloggers, not the news station. We're all doing the best that we can, you guys. We're all doing the best that we can. So please let us continue to cover this, because it had not been for your bloggers, this would not be where it is today. They would have closed it out according to the doctor and a police report, and they would have walked away from it, because as much as you think we matter, we don't, depending on whose territory we're in. Okay? As much as you would like to think we matter, oftentimes we don't. So please stop saying, y'all need to leave this alone, because we would do it. We would do the same for you and your family members. We would do the exact same thing for you. We're not going to leave it alone. And you can see why now. You see, if we leave it alone, they can tell you anything. You got a dude right there sitting in a family's home, lying, misrepresenting himself, misrepresenting his relationship with Shanquella, as well as her family. Who does that? From all sides, y'all. This family is being taken advantage of in their vulnerability, in their grieving. They can't even grieve properly, right? Because allegedly they're having to consider having the body exhumed to have a private autopsy. So imagine that, because most of us are not prepared to lose a loved one. So nobody has, God knows how many thousands of dollars it requires to have that done. So there's probably a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of emotion. They can't even properly grieve this young lady because people around them are constantly betraying them. So please stop asking us to leave this alone, because we won't. Somebody has to hold the line for this family. And that's what we're trying to do as bloggers. No, we don't have all of the information. No, we don't. But I haven't heard one blogger right now that's out there purposely misrepresenting that case. Okay? We're holding people that are supposedly close to the family. We're taking their word as face value. Nobody expects somebody to come on and lie about their relationship and claim to be somebody's boyfriend. Who does that with the deceased? Y'all, this is some kind of crazy, this is like unheard of. Like, I am just flabbergasted. I'm speechless. But I wanted to give you that update. Okay. That everything we've heard, question all of it from anybody close to the family. If you don't hear from the mother, if you don't hear from the father, question it. Okay. Because right now it seems like they can't trust anybody. And this case becomes more bizarre by the minute. And that's so unfortunate. Continue to stand in the gap, bloggers. Continue to hold these people accountable. And you know what? We don't even know who the current boyfriend is, because he's not trying to utilize her passing, her death as a come up. And that's sad that people are trying to utilize this to eat off of. You know, that's not the way to go. Watch how you come up. You should be ashamed of yourself. You took a picture in front of that girl's grave. You hopped your butt on interviews, giving firsthand accounts. Now I don't even know if he was there. He made it seem like he was there in that family's home when the Cabo Six came every day to visit. He even went as far as he told Khalil, this is what he said. He said, I told him he got to get out of here. He got to leave. At this point, we don't know what to believe, but we are doing the best that we can. We will continue to cover this. But most importantly, pray for that family. Pray that justice will be swift, and pray that God would deal with anybody that's trying to use this as a come up